Yeah, there are 2 more missions after Finish Tango. And as far as I can tell, I don't think that it's a thing that goes away with more progression. I think there is something that I know about the final stretch of this game that I think might have something to do with it. It might just be a thing that you come back and do later. It might also just be a situation of going in there, shooting the mold, and then going out before you die, and then doing it again.
Well, I got all the mold, but there's like an item chest. And I will not be able to open that before the mold kills me.
Yeah, I don't know. That I can't say for sure.
Let's check out this arcade machine. Shoom. I can play crowd control or I can play deadline.
Let's see, it says Polybius on here. What?
Oh no. They have
Are you gonna tell
and
me?
they have Shoom 2. I'm gonna play deadline.
Alright.
Oh, I really like that screen transition. You're gonna see it in a sec.
Do we play Virtua Fighter or do we play Super Hang-On? Pat the Baker.
The insult master.
President Evil.
Dude, I fucking love President Evil.
Yeah, I know you do. President Evil's pretty good. President Evil is pretty good. I really do like Pat the Baker. Was Cooking Mama even a thing when that came out? Or is that like a Burger Time?
I'm pretty sure Cooking Mama's been around for a long time.
Let's see, when did the first Cooking Mama game come out? First release, March 23rd, 2006. So let's see. Brown Evil. When did Brown Evil come out? Nope, Brown Evil predates it by 3 years.
Damn.
It might not be a specific thing about anything, but if... Oh my god. There's a fucking episode of Billy and Mandy called The Really Odd Couple, which... That is a joke that I did not get when I was a kid. That is a reference to a famous American stage play, The Odd Couple, which I directed once, actually. It's neat.
The goal of crowd control survived. I could probably do that.
Maybe.
Because it's
I mean, I believe in you.
Usually it's like rushing and trying to race against the clock is usually what gets me killed.
You just have to focus. And believe in the Force. Turn off your targeting computer. Follow the advice of the wise old man who came before you.
I'll fire the photon torpedo directly into the open exhaust port of this bad franchise.
Well, the photon torpedo is a Star Trek thing.
That's right. Because guess which one I prefer of the two?
Yeah, me too, buddy. Fire this photon torpedo directly into the Borg hole.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
That's what I call it.
Oh, Fancy Pants Frenchman has a cube hole. What do you call it? A Borg.
There are 4 Borg holes. There are 4 life. Next Generation's so good. It's not all good. The highs are incredibly high. The lows are also very low. Some of the lows of Star Trek are... no, that's not true. I was gonna say some of the lows of Star Trek are worse. Actually, you know what? If we're counting all of it, like, if we're counting like reptile people and like the bisected black and white race of the original series and how problematic that is, and some of the stuff that Janeway did too, I would say that some of Star Trek's lows are worse than the worst of Star Wars, but Star Trek's bests are also consistently better than the bests of Star Wars.
Well, it kind of depends on what you consider a low. Because there's something being downright offensive, and there's something just being bad art.
Yeah.
And there is a distinction to be made, I feel.
There is something to be made of that, yes. I would say that Star Trek does certainly have some bad art in it. I would say that, like, most modern Star Trek is really bad art. To the point that some people might contest whether or not it deserves to be called art. I would say that it does. Just because it's bad doesn't mean that it's not an artistic endeavor. But also, man, there is some genuinely pretty offensive stuff in Star Trek if you know where to look for it. Whereas Star Wars is just kind of stupid and incompetent most of the time. But sometimes I can get behind that. I think gonk droids are awesome.
I think Star Wars has too much money flowing into it to be bad.
I think Star Wars has too much money flowing into it to be good.
I think it should receive no clemency. But that's my opinion.
I think Star Wars has too much money in it to be good.
And it has too much money going into it to get away with being bad.
There is no reason that it should be bad, and at the same time, because of that, I don't have any... Fuck, I don't know. Star Wars is weird. There's some good stuff in there, but none of it is in the movies.
Oh, you can, if you have the upgrade, you can grab the exploding dudes and use them as explosive projectiles. That's fucking awesome.
Yep. So that's something that I mentioned way earlier on, and I spoil you on. I love that. Because it makes the most annoying enemy type in the game now another tool.
In addition to making it one of the... oh shit. One of the funniest.
There is fun to be had. So Bix,
what's up?
We have a time limit to do all of Mass Effect.
How do you figure?
In addition to them talking about the re-release of those 3 games in a legendary edition, they have also they're making a new game.
And what's that got to do with us?
It's got to do with us, the fact that I'm gonna play it. Because I fucking love Mass Effect. And there's a good chance that it's gonna happen at the end of those games. Maybe not. Who knows? Like, maybe it would be a prequel or something, and in that case, that would be really cool. But also, I love those games so much.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Mass Effect is one of the series with, like, the most wasted potential out of any media property I can think. Like, it's up there with Star Wars as, like, man, there is something here, and there's some really good stuff, and just, like, the nature of how corporate it got just destroyed it.
If there's one thing I wish this game had, and I understand why it doesn't have it, but still I wish, is the ability to use all of your weapon forms on demand. Instead of having to go into a menu and switch them around.
That should be like a New Game Plus thing. Like, you beat the game and you suddenly get the ability to willingly shapeshift your gun. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about getting to the end of a game and your reward being that you're allowed to just break it over your knee?
I'm a pretty big fan of that, but I think the thing I'm the biggest fan of is when New Game Plus adds and changes things. Like, if there is an ending you can only get in New Game Plus, I love that. Some call it padding, I call it brilliance.
Well, I mean, fucking Nier Automata must be your favorite game ever made. Then,
I do like
goddamn.
that game.
That game is crazy because it plays like garbage and it looks like garbage, but man, the story and the music and the characters and oh my god, all of that stuff is great. But it fucking plays terribly. There are invisible walls everywhere. Fucking miserable to look at, but that's also part of the point.
I like the look of that game.
I don't. I mean, you're a fan of like After the End and bombed out buildings and stuff.
That's basically my whole aesthetic is, hey, what if everyone was dead? I think I would be into that.
I think if I like the opposite. I like the opposite of that, but at the same time, I really love the way that game sounds. Like, its music at times sounds like a horror soundtrack. It sounds like an opera, like a horror opera.
That's a strong pitch.
Like, that's what I wish the rest of the game lived up to. And in some ways it does. Like, it's definitely meant to be intentionally off-putting
oh my God.
in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's kind of like concessions made for a low budget, I guess.
Which that game had Square Enix money behind it.
It had Square Enix behind it. I don't know that it had Square Enix money behind it.
Oh, so that's what got me.
I don't know enough about that game's development to be able to say for sure, but I can't imagine that they were given a lot of money. Because Nier certainly does not look like it was given a lot of money. Also, Nier 1 did not sell, so...
It's kind of amazing that it got a sequel.
And that the sequel was, like, critically acclaimed. The sequel sold well, I just don't think that they gave it much money to make. Because, like, I look at it and it's like, okay, well, on one hand you've got Platinum, and Platinum never gets any money.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you've got Yoko Taro, who also never gets any money.
Yoko Taro, the fucking mad genius.
Shit, Square Enix.
That remains one of my favorite clips of all time, legitimately.
Buy the t-shirt, buy the t-shirt.
He's rolling around on the floor.
He's getting dizzy and, like, giving up halfway.
Shit, Square Enix!
It's really good. I have a lot of respect for Nier Automata.
Near a tomato.
In vicinity towards a tomato.
It's me. I'm one of the tomatoes. Says 2B.
And then all of the robots start freaking out, and there's like an opera choir. Oh!
Yeah, that happens in that game.
It does happen in that game. That was as far in that game as I got before I was like, man, this doesn't play well, and then I looked everything else up online. Oh, that game doesn't play well, but it's so cool! That might have been one of my most disappointing things of that year, was just like, dude, Nier is such a neat, weird world, and Platinum games play so well, and then you start playing it, and there's invisible walls everywhere, and the fucking like the way that the enemies have like leveled really hurts that game for me.
Much like this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You know something else that bums me out?
What's that?
Looking on Steam and like occasionally checking out really cool looking thumbnails and being like, oh man, this is awesome. How come I haven't heard of this before? And then it's like, oh right, it's a VR game. It's a VR game that I can't play.
I don't like VR as a concept.
I love VR as a concept, but I won't go in on it until we have holodecks.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I like VR as a concept. I don't like what they are now peddling as VR. Because it's not VR.
I would agree with that. I mean, like, when I was a kid, I had one of those, not like a literal virtual boy, but I had one of those early VR headsets you would put on and play like Pong in like simulated 3D on like a wireframe grid.
That's just the Virtual Boy minus the red.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much. And I look at it now, I look at what VR is now, and I'm like, kind of looks like...
There has been no improvement.
There's been, I mean, substantial improvement, but...
The games haven't gotten any better.
I mean, they have.
I would rather play Pong. Call me an asshole. I would rather play Pong.
I think you're wrong in this instance. Okay, you know what I'll say this. There's a lot of Steam trash in VR, but there's also stuff like Boneworks and Half-Life Alyx and that Iron Man game. There's some neat stuff to do in VR for sure that you can't do otherwise. Like, Superhot is a completely different game in VR that I like more in VR. Superhot was clearly, like, destined to be a VR game. To the point that I kind of regret having played Superhot without a VR headset. Because it made me less likely to play it with one. But at the same time, there is just so much garbage also on VR. But, I mean, that's the same as every other console, right? Like, I can load up my Switch right now, and there is just tons of bad...
I think VR as a medium, as it exists right now, is fucking trash.
It's a bit of a chicken and egg problem for me, because, like, if there was more support for it, we would have better games. And if we had better games, we would have more support for it. Like, there would be incentive to make more.
I don't think the technology is there. That's my hot take.
I don't think the technology is there for what I want, but I do see VR games, and I'm like, that's neat. I see cool stuff happen that you can't do on a mouse and keyboard.
They shouldn't call it VR, because that's not what it is.
No.
I might be more inclined to be kinder to it if they didn't call it VR.
I might call it, instead of virtual reality, I think it honestly fits a little bit better with augmented reality.
I think if they had, like, augmented reality games that you could play, like, here, buy this Nerf gun. It fires, like, electro tags, and you can
be
run
one
around.
Of those assholes in fucking Watch Dogs, like, with your cell phone out, shooting lasers at invisible drone sky.
Like, I used to hear these stories of, like, people playing fucking zombies in college with Nerf guns, and I'm like, that sounds like the coolest shit.
Imagine you can play the floor is lava, and you actually set up like a ground, like AR texture to be what you can't touch, right?
That's right. VR would be much cooler as AR.
Because you can do that. Like when you play, I play Pokemon Go for instance, and Pokemon Go has an AR mode where it's like, hey, scan the area around you, and we're gonna find a flat texture so that we can make your Pokemon appear and walk around on it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. If you had that, but applied to be like, okay, that's the flat surface, this is where we designate the floor to be, go, have fun. And you could do floor as lava.
Right.
Or literally like, hey, here's your N64 zapper, sorry, your SNES zapper, and here is your like AR targets that float around in the ether. That'd be neat. You'd look like an idiot, but it would be neat.
Fun.
I mean, at that point, you're pretty much just playing laser tag, though.
Laser tag, but I don't need a designated arena or friends to play it with. And I can just grab my stupid toy gun and boot it up anytime. Dude, that would kick ass. I would buy that.
I want VR to get to the point where it's dangerous, and I have to stop myself from playing it, because that's what... Fucking imagine a situation where you're playing VR, and like the Uncharted music starts playing, and it loads you into the scenario of like, run, jump, and climb, and it's like, yeah, but fucking you can't see anything else because it's that good. That's a nightmare, and would get so many people killed, and that's... Like, that's the level of immersion that I want, because that's what VR is supposed to be.
That's right.
You think about VR in the context of, like, that Futurama episode, or Tron.
That one. I know exactly which one.
Or that very similar Fairly Odd Parents episode, where they do pretty much the exact same thing.
I also remember that episode.
That is VR, and we are not there yet.
I think that AR games could be really cool. VR as it is right now is barking up the wrong tree, I think.
I think yeah, it's the technology has improved in such a crazy amount in such a short time span, because it like exists as a consumer product and people are actively doing R&D on it.
A consumer product that nobody can afford.
Yeah. Like the install base is too low because the asking price is too high. PlayStation 5. The software isn't there because there's no incentive to make it, because nobody has a VR headset, because the VR headset's too expensive, because there's no incentive to make it, because there's no games, because there's no incentive to make games. It's like, it's this huge fucking problem. If as many people owned a... I'm of the opinion that with the price that they're asking for new consoles like the Xbox and the PlayStation, those should be... Like, they should come with a VR headset and you should play VR. I feel like we're at that point with boxes that you buy.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still just Xboxes and PlayStations is kind of disappointing to me. It's like, oh, you put an SSD and a heatsink in there, cool. What else you got? And they're like, what we got is that it costs $. And I'm like, really? In 2020? Don't get me wrong, I'm also really excited. I super want to pick up a PlayStation. But it's largely to do with the fact that it has such cool games.
The hardware is not impressive.
Really the hardware is not impressive. The hardware is impressive, but not as impressive as it should be given the year.
The advancing of the time and of the price, you might say.
Diminishing returns have been in effect since, like, the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, for me.
Also, I'm sure this hasn't been terribly interesting from a gameplay perspective, but I just want to say I'm having a blast.
I see that. I'm happy that you're having fun.
Like, I'll go out on a limb here and say, this game is absolutely, like, sophisticated and developed enough gameplay-wise to warrant having an arcade mode. and it works really well. I'm having a ton of fun right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to, like, American Nightmare has that endless mode. Or not endless mode, but it has a survival mode where you survive until the sun comes up. And it works because the combat in that game is excellent. It's very well thought out and very well realized. I would love, man, I'm just thinking about Alan Wake with, like, the available technology of today.
Hey, Alan Wake 2, they're pushing hard for it. And I hope they get what they want.
I really hope that game gets made, but I have no faith that it's gonna get made. And I say, you know how, like, we've spent the last, what, 2.5 months, feels like, me talking about how much I fucking love Alan Wake?
Yep.
I have no faith that that game is gonna get made, because I have been hearing Alan Wake 2 and Alan Wake might get a sequel for
like 10
what
years.
feels like literally 10 years, but it feels like as long as I've been waiting for episode 3.
Which is only slightly longer.
But it feels way longer because Alan Wake is way cooler than Half-Life. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, hey, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one, as someone who likes both Half-Life and Alan Wake.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, you know, Alan Wake is... Sorry, Half-Life has such a fucking history of, like, pushing tech forward in games, and as a pedigree to it, you know?
A pedigree that is now
understand.
gone because all of the talented people left Valve.
BioWare. Sorry, I had a horrible, I had a horrible noise in my throat. It sounded a lot like I said BioWare.
How could
That's
you?
BIOWARE. But don't worry, it wasn't BioWare. It was just phlegm and pain. You know, like BioWare.
The BioWare inside your throat.
Fine makers of Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem.
Wait, did BioWare make Mass Effect Andromeda, or was it like some others, like under the BioWare name but a different team?
I mean, yes and no.
It was like BioWare, not the same one.
The thing that you have to understand about Mass Effect Andromeda is that it has one of the most troubled development histories I can think of.
Yeah.
That game is bad. Like, I can't think of a say it other than just like, you remember how that game was when it launched? And how it just didn't function. But even if it did function, like, it's just not good. It is in many respects worse than... It is in almost every respect outside of the combat and, I guess, technical prowess of the engine. Because it was made on the Frostbite engine, so... The environments and, like,
And
pixel
basically,
count look...
everything that's not alive looks great.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Fucking story in that game is so bad. Because, like, they made it into a... I have been going back and forth so hard on, like, we're gonna play those Mass Effect games. We're gonna play the first 3 of them. And I keep going back and forth on, like, man, should we not play Mass Effect Andromeda? Should we play it? Like, how do I feel about this game? And the thing about Mass Effect Andromeda, one of the myriad things of Mass Effect Andromeda, is that game's not an RPG. It is a... Insofar as Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 are at least somewhat similar to a Jade Empire or a KOTOR or a Dragon Age in some ways, Mass Effect Andromeda is way closer to like an Assassin's Creed than anything else. It's an Assassin's Creed game that's trying to pretend like it's a BioWare game.
Oh no.
It is just like open world, grindy bullshit nonsense, repeating content, wide open, nothing but combat arenas. Oh my god. If you could not get further away from what Mass Effect is than that. Mass Effect is that we've gotten in a video game. You could make an argument that Mass Effect 1 and 2 are similar, like they're kind of distillations of the original series and Next Generation in a lot of ways. And I would argue that Mass Effect 3 is like Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery, which is to say bad.
Yeah.
But like those first two games are definitely like, you know, exploring a lot of alien politics and understanding the way the
where
world
no one
works.
has gone before.
And even in the situation of like, yeah, but it totally does turn into like a huge war against the Reapers and everything. It's like, yes, but it's also a war to preserve this amazing world that you've spent all of these hours getting invested in and learning all of your, like, it's more about the characters and the crew than anything. That's always been like, that's classic BioWare's like claim to fame, is that all these characters and the setting is written so well. And you really, like, I struggle to think of a gaming landscape that I love as much as the Mass Effect universe and all the cool shit that goes on in it. And, like, the party members that you have in those games. And then Mass Effect Andromeda is like, okay, a really good example is the very first mission in that game. They spend what feels like a better part of an hour talking about how you're the Pathfinder and how you, when you come into first contact with the aliens, that you should be respectful and peaceful, and that whatever happens, don't be aggressive and don't start any shit. And the fucking first thing that happens is you land on an alien planet and get into a gunfight with like a gunship full of angry aliens. And it's like, we literally said
you had one job.
You started an intergalactic war. This happened in the fiction with the Turians, and it was bad. And they're like cracking jokes about how they're like, oh man, I totally shot that guy in the face. It was super cool. And it's like, what do you think this game is? What series is this? What are you doing? It's not good. It also runs terribly. Because the Frostbite engine is also a very technically demanding engine. They do a thing in Mass Effect Andromeda where, in Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3, yeah, you have a galaxy map, and it's like an overworld where you can just kind of RTS style travel between worlds and zoom in on what is essentially JPEGs and like a floating 3D model of a planet. And you can read about all these planets and all the cool stuff there, and like the history and culture and everything. And Mass Effect Andromeda has the galaxy map, but it's like all 3D fully rendered with like, you know, cloud and particle effects for dust in space and all that shit. And it just makes it run so badly. And it's so big, and yet hell is so hot. And there's nothing interesting.
Mile wide and inch deep, you might say?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. It's bad. Mass Effect is, the other games are kind of like, not ocean, not like mile wide, like, you have like the width of a football field, maybe, and pockets of really, really deep, and then between those is just flavor text that you can read, but like those pockets are really fucking deep down there. So it is a big world, and there's tons of shit to do. Like, you can easily spend 60 hours in each of those games if you really want to. And it's good. Like, there's very little in those games that isn't good. I can point to a couple of things that I dislike, and it's kind of... A lot of it is actually in the second game. The second game has incredibly high highs and a couple of really bad lows. And then the third game is mostly lows with a couple of really excellent highs. And then Mass Effect Andromeda is all low. All bad. Except for the combat. The combat in that game feels really good. And it's the only thing that works, and you can tell. What a disappointment.
And speaking of combat, I think I'm almost done here. I'm very close to the end.
That's good.
I did not expect this to be quite the undertaking that it was.
I did.
Well, you had the benefit of foresight. And you still chose not to tell me.
No, I want you to have fun.
I am having fun.
I am having fun. God damn it. Don't tell me that I can have fun talking about Mass Effect. Mass Effect Andromeda is like, actually, it's you know what? It's pretty analogous to that last Star Wars movie that came out. Like, holy shit, we need to can the franchise for a while. Like, they shut down the studio that worked on it, and they shut down the franchise for several years. But also, like, it's not really the developer's fault. That's the thing that I would also say with Mass Effect Andromeda, is it is not the fault of the developers. It's pretty much all, like, mismanagement.
Thanks, EA.
And, yeah. Yep. EA, killers of such franchises as Mirror's Edge, Mass Effect, Dead Space, Burnout. Like, holy shit, dude.
You know you're doing a good job as a publisher when your body count looks like a fucking phone number.
It's also a problem because, like, the reason that I am particularly so upset with EA is that almost, like, Burnout, Mass Effect, and Mirror's Edge are three of some of my favorite franchises of all time, and they were all ruined.
By the same company.
Battlefield. Sorry, not Battlefield. Battlefront. I really liked Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2 on the original consoles. And then for them to come back and just reskin it as Battlefield and get in trouble with governments the world over because of their monetization. Holy shit, dude. Talking about getting banned for, like, unlawful legislation practice? Or sorry, legislation practice coming in for, like, monetization practice?
Like, they kind of got the ball rolling on all that.
They did, well, see, it's like you're sitting at a pachinko machine, right?
Uh-huh.
And the pachinko machine is on top of a snowy mountain. And EA comes along and sees you sitting at the pachinko machine, teetering on the edge, and they just violently shove you down the side of the hill, and the pachinko machine just starts rolling and collecting snow into a bigger and bigger snowball until it crashes into the bottom, and the village, like the snowy village that it crashes into and destroys, is the city of game development, population everyone.
Soon to be population no one.
Good job.
Realistic these
You
days.
did it.
Oh, what a good game.
Man. to fuck up so badly that, like, government intervention becomes necessary.
So monumentally.
And for what? All for greed.
All for greed.
And remember, that game came out with, like, 4 maps and, like, 8 characters. And that was it.
The fucking nerve.
Holy shit, EA is so...
The worst.
It's the worst.
And holy shit, that was so much fun.
The Sims, also, I would put them down for making some really bad calls with The Sims. I did not enjoy Sims 4.
I am going to eliminate the darkness one last time, and then we can do some main story stuff in the last hour.
Okay.
Oh my god, that was awesome! Buy this game. Give Remedy your money.
Give Remedy your money. Buy it twice so that I can play Alan Wake 2, please. I want them to come out with Alan Wake 2, and it's Alan Wake TOO.
Alan Wake additionally.
Alan Wake as well. Alan Wake apostrophe as well. Hey, here's a dumb detail that I didn't point out at the end of Alan Wake's main story that I really like.
Yeah?
The way that they end that game and say that there's gonna be more is they show an ellipses on screen.
That's right.
That's so fucking cheesy and I love it.
It's like saying, the end?
Dude, way more things need to end with the end fade in on the question mark.
Yeah! What was the most recent thing that did that?
I have no idea.
There's something I'm thinking of that I played recently that did that.
I kind of want everything to end that way. Let me just type it in.
I implore you.
God damn it, Google. Google is really bad about, like, understanding punctuation and question marks.
Google is really bad.
It's also evil.
Yeah. Which is funny when you think that one time they thought they could fool people by just changing their internal company motto to be, hey, don't be evil. Guess what Google wound up doing?
How could one man... No one man should have all that power. Clock's ticking, I just count the hour.
Used to have a book on training.
Start tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Tell them, fuck that, the world's ours.
Usually without a ticket.
Ooh. This is a really good name for a comic book.
What is it?
Batman Thrill Killer.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I originally thought it just said Batman Thrill Kill, and then I clicked on it and saw it was Thrill Killer, which I also like.
Need to figure out where this darkness is so I can burn it away.
Darkness. Burn it away.
Here's some darkness for me to burn away. Now I just need to find a light source, which I think I see one. Good job telegraphing the presence of that light source, Remedy. It looks great.
You did a good job.
You'll see it in a second here.
Trying to look up the end question mark.
There's the light source.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're looking at. That's yeah. That's pretty good.
Just the big, like, light corona coming through the window.
Oh, fuck, I saw the word System Shock, and for a second I thought somebody was talking about a Static Shock video game, and I was like, what?
Where has this been?
Excuse me? Static Shock needs to come back. Nobody know what I do. Superhero Static Shock. There is a version of this in Beast Wars. Apparently the second season finale ends with "to be continued?" ? What if they came out with Alan Wake 2 and it fades in on the title screen and it says Alan Wake and then it fades in on a ?
Alan Wake ?
Alan Wake?
Alan Wake allegedly.
The artist formerly known as Alan Wake.
That's right.
Fuck me, I just came up with a better idea.
What?
Alan Wake comes back, but it's only as like a Nintendo exclusive sports game, and it's Alan Wakeboarding.
Yeah?
And it's all wakeboarding, but with the cast of Alan Wake. The Anderson brothers can like skate on their guitars.
Fuck yeah. I'm sold, honestly.
Hartman can surf on a giant bandage for his nose.
That's so petty. I love it.
Oh man, that'd be really good. At the same time, I look at this now and I'm like, shit. We totally do now have a copy of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Go.
And those are...
God bless you.
Those are... Thank you. Those are really good games. Some of the only good Sonic games.
Also, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to say Gesundheit instead.
Thank you. Gesundheit is also what I say. Sometimes I get shit for saying Gesundheit.
Well, some people can fuck off.
You know what? I rescind the Gesundheit.
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
You know what I really want to check out again someday?
What's that?
When Starstruck comes back, like when that gets released as a full game, I want to check that out.
You said Starstruck, and I heard it as like a horrible mishmash of Star Trek and like Star Shrek.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Oh man, we're past the point of it being... It would come out now and it would just be an ironic thing. Imagine like 5 years ago, you're watching the Super Bowl and you get like a mid-roll ad and it's Star Shrek. And it's the new movie, but it's Shrek in space.
Shrek X.
Shrek X. Star Shrek.
Yeah, you like that?
I do like that. I wish that, you know, I'm looking through all these games on Steam, and I'm having trouble thinking of anything recent that I would like to check out.
I'm having trouble trying to sleep. Counting sheep, but running out.
Face laughing in my face.
My face is my face. That's the one I love the most.
I know. It's really good. My face is dry. My face is
gonna
numb.
bleed.
Q Jacob 199074 in chat asks, want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on bigfollows.com. Well, that's a great question, Q Jacob. Yeah, no, I would say that the Porgs are indeed my favorite addition to the Star Wars canon. They're adorable, cuddly, and they taste great when you cook them. Next question, please.
Next question.
Done. That should make him happy. You're welcome.
We've got a question from me in chat, who asks, why do I have a copy of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex First Assault Online in my Steam library? Isn't that game no longer available? And to that I would say, I believe so. I believe you cannot play that game anymore. I kind of don't want to get rid of it.
That's a shame.
Because it was okay. I liked it. It was extremely niche, and it wasn't great. I mean, you know me. I like games that are not very good. I like games that are either like 10 on 10 on 11 on 10, or they are just not perfect. I would put Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex as bad, but fun.
If you attach a surge projectile to a launch object, it will explode on contact with an enemy. That sounds like the kind of thing you would try. Is just load something up with sticky grenades and launch it at someone.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I know you for doing.
There's an exploit in Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain where you can throw a smoke grenade inside of a jeep and then just roll up the jeep like into the middle of an enemy encampment and on.
Because the smoke grenade hides you.
Yeah. Duh. You can do the same thing with like mini walker mechs. If you like if you get onto a walker mech and you toss one on the inside and you just start running and gunning people down, they don't know where you are. They don't know what's going on.
I really like the logic behind that, or lack thereof.
That is, yeah. By virtue of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain being a game that is an open world Metal Gear, you get that shit all the time.
I wonder if there's one of those special mods for spin.
I believe there is.
I wonder what it does.
Probably makes it spin.
Spin good.
Who the fuck? Who is Shisui Uchiha? That ain't no Uchiha I never heard of. Also,
so that's
when
why
did I
they
get
call it the ashtray maze.
Contact the janitor if you need to get...
Yep. Oh, are you in the ashtray maze?
How many dead ends can this place have?
Uh,
Because it looks like it smells like an ashtray.
you need to find Ati.
I do need to find Ati.
So, I'm gonna tell you right away.
Yeah?
The ashtray maze is the segment with the song. Like, the song in this game. I don't know, I don't want to influence your opinion on how you want to take it one way. But knowing what you know about the way that these games use music, that's what I'll say.
I think I'm just gonna leave it off.
Okay. In that case, we can talk about it in a way that we can talk about it and not have to fucking redub it later. Also, when did I get a copy of Nights into Dreams?
I don't know.
What a weird game that is.
That's... That exists on PC?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
When they did their, oh, ow! Excuse me. When they did their, like, collection of, Sega Dreamcast games, they came along with that. So it was like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Shenmue 1 and 2, and Nights into Dreams and Crazy Taxi. I'm probably missing one. It might be like Sega Bass Fishing or something.
Hmm.
God, what a fucking cool area this is.
This thing that I'm doing right now doesn't seem productive.
Nope.
However, I did pick up a mod that might be good.
You're gonna need to find Ati the janitor.
That's right. Frustrating.
Yeah, that's what they call me, alright. I wish that they wouldn't.
I wish they'd stop. I don't know why they call me that.
I've tried so hard to get away from this. Tell you what, I know of a game that you would really like to play.
Yeah?
You would really like Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Imagine you took, like, the information and the general flow of events from Adventure Brothers episode, but then you gave it the tone of a metal album.
That is a strong pitch, I won't lie.
Like, wrapped it all up. Like, half of the shit that happens in that game is like the cover of a pulp novel. It's also not perfect, is the other thing. It is a very difficult game, and often the way that it is difficult is because it wasn't designed great. The first one is really, really good. The second one is not as good, but with a way more interesting story. Also, you get to kill Nazis, which...
Always a fan.
Yes, please. Always a big fan. Also, Mick Gordon does the soundtrack, so...
Yeah.
Good goddamn music. Good music to kill Nazis, too, as it turns out.
Wow, shocker.
Wow, shocker, what are you doing in this game? I thought we got... I can't fucking believe that Grimm is still in the corner of the screen.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. I promised you that. That he is here to stay.
I like that he's there. Also, that glass shatter effect was really good.
There's no Ati.
I just got right up in the camera. It was really good.
Yeah.
God, I read Dead Rising 2 and Dead by Daylight so fast together that I thought it said Dead Rising by Daylight, and I was like, I don't... But when did this happen? It didn't happen. What a mess. Talk to the plants.
Now this
Talk to the
boy
plants.
left, said the son of Annikki Tähti. My assistant will keep work in the
Burn the
and
trash.
outstanding. Lomille lomps, holiday humps.
I kind of can't believe also that I still have Dragon Quest XI, and I was so fired up for that game. and I'm fucking never gonna play it. They really gypped everybody on the way that all that extra content happened. I don't know if I regret any game more for paying it at full price than I do. Man, that was a terrible way to say that. I don't know that I've ever regretted paying for a game at full price more than Dragon's Quest XI. Because so much cool shit happened, and so much good music, and all that good stuff that happened only in the extra edition that was also full price, and you get fucking nothing for having been an early adopter of that game. Also, the objectively better version came out on Switch as well. So it's like, if I had known, I would have just bought it on the Switch. That doesn't make me want to buy your game twice. That makes me want to never buy a game that you ever make ever again. Pro tip for every developer out there who might think that that's a good idea or a solid business practice, that's maybe one of the scummiest things you can do. And because of that, I will probably never buy another Dragon Quest game. Because what if they just make a better one 2 months later? They did it before. They've done it multiple times.
Again.
They'll do it again.
There's that furnace complaint.
Ah, yes. The furnace complaint. I wanted so bad to like that game. Furnace complaint. Federal Bureau of Control regarding the furnace. Why aren't we allowed to burn outdated save you? Usually people in suits. Even heating. And who's in charge of it anyway? It's always lit, but I never see anyone tending to it. And the noise it makes. Isn't it a little, I don't know, off? I mean, I can't be the only one who hears that weird wheezing or whatever it is. Someone should take a look at that thing. Might be time for a replacement. Yeah, this place is an absolute garbage fest.
This place is grody.
To the max. So on, so forth with Spoon and such like. Here's another thing. I own a copy of Lego Batman. And the only reason I own a copy of it was because they have Batman Beyond skin in there. And I really wanted to play it. And I started playing that game and I was like, not great. Not only can you play as Batman Beyond in there, you can ink and blight an old Bruce.
I'm glad.
I think you might be able to play as Ace the Crime Hound as well. Also, can we talk about how cool of a name Ace the Crime Hound is?
It's pretty good.
Much better than Crypto the Superdog. And I like Crypto the Superdog.
I don't like the Super family.
I don't like Superman, but I like Crypto the Superdog. I like that Superman has a horse that just has a Superman thing on it.
Why does he have a horse? What's the horse's name again?
Fuck, I don't remember. Like Mango bullshit? Who knows? Superman's horse.
Yeah.
Comet.
Comet.
Comet the Super Horse. Part of the Legion of Super Pets.
God.
Oh, you remember what the best one was?
What? There was a monkey,
Beppo,
wasn't
the
there?
monkey.
Yes! God damn it!
Beppo.
Why is there a fucking monkey, huh? Tell me. Oh, time for the rule of 3. Ocean View Motel and Casino.
Beppo the Super Monkey, Comet the Super Horse, Crypto the Super Dog, Prody 2, Streaky the Super Cat, the Bat Crow, Flexi the Plastic Bird, Clay Critter, and Titus.
Payless Shoes. Death.
Ponyboy.
Ooh.
Soda Pop. I think I told you this, but one of my favorite shows that I was ever in was a theatrical version of The Outsiders.
Yeah.
And because of that, I find that track to be doubly hilarious because it starts going off the rail way later than you actually think it does. Like, Ponyboy and Soda Pop are not jokes. Those are characters in that book.
Good.
Had a Bostonian accent for that show, which unfortunately stuck with me for several months.
Oh, jeez.
No longer have it, but it was tough to get rid of that. All this gunk on the floor. This really is an Ocean View Motel.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like I'm back in Arizona. Sorry, Georgia, actually. I had a really bad hotel experience in Georgia. Followed by a really good one. I would like to thank my parents for helping me with that situation.
Janitor.
I went out for, Oh, did you get the thing about the janitor?
No, I got the door that says janitor.
Hmm.
And
I went out for...
here I am, back in the Black Rock Quarry.
Good stuff. I could be wrong, but it seemed like you were also wearing your proper outfit for that. Like in the painting.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
Well, no, it was the jacket.
Oh, it was the jacket?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
sure. God, that looks amazing.
Oh man, it does look really good. I've also got a really bad head.
You know what I want?
Summary.
I want, when I walk into, like, a situation like this, I want that big block text to appear on the screen, and it just says combat.
That would be nice. That case file you picked up. Albany, AWE 29. A response team was dispatched to a possible AWE in progress at redacted Albany. At the scene, the team encountered and retrieved A163. Event response. The Bureau had discovered numerous online message boards regarding loud noises coming from an abandoned shipping warehouse belonging to the redacted corporation. Local law enforcement had discovered numerous bodies in various states of mutilation in the vicinity. This, along with the noises, were considered to be evidence of a quote-unquote werewolf due to the fact that they only occurred on the last 3 full moons. Field Agent Redacted accompanied a squad of ranger trainees to the site as a form of field training. The likelihood of a genuine AWE was considered low. Despite this evaluation, the team encountered a highly volatile, altered item, which they successfully retrieved. You know what?
What?
That reminds me of how genuinely interested and intrigued I am in Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, that ought to be something good. We can only hope.
Game
I mean,
that appears
7
to be,
was good.
7 was good. 8 appears to be taking some pretty heavy inspiration from 4, and also appears to have vampires, werewolves, and witches. So, thank you.
Thank you for making this game for me.
I very much appreciate it. Especially since Vampire the Masquerade 2 is gonna come out and be fucking terrible. I'm just calling it right now. I want that game to be amazing because that first game is something special. It's gonna be really bad. Like, I have the question of whether or not Cyberpunk is gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be disappointing and bad. There is no way Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines is not going to come out and be terrible. That game looks like it's taking all... That game looks like... That game kind of looks like Fallout 4 to me.
Oh no. A more
And I
dire
like that game,
comparison there
man.
never was. No, that game sucks! You're not allowed to like it. I forbid it.
What, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
No, Fallout 4. I thought that's what you were
I
talking
don't
about.
like... No, I fucking hate Fallout 4.
Sucks.
I don't hate anything, it's a bad game though.
Well, that makes one of us that doesn't hate anything. Ooh.
You know what's worse? 76.
That's not saying a whole lot, though. Ooh,
It is though.
This is pretty.
Fallout 76, maybe the worst game ever made. In genuine contest for possibly the worst game ever made.
Albany supplement. Yo, we're in that area from Bloodborne. No, not really. Because there's a ceiling. There's a fucking ceiling. That's weird. Man, you come into the oldest house and you see something called restricted area.
This reminds me of that one room from Mirror's Edge 1. Where you're in the sewers, and they have just these massive columns, and everywhere around you is falling to your death, and you have to, like, jump from column to column.
Right.
What a good game. Albany Supplement, AWE 29. Details. Upon arrival, the squad broke into the warehouse and discovered boxes of undelivered merchandise abandoned by the previous owner of the warehouse. As they investigated the noise, Redacted, along the south side of the building, caused it to collapse inward. Wooden crates in accelerated physical Redacted from Redacted rendered Field Agent Redacted and the 2 of the trainees unconscious. The others escaped the warehouse before it collapsed entirely. In the rubble, they found AI-63 at the origin of the Redacted, attracting and repelling debris. They stood guard around the item until the moon set, at which point the altered effect ceased. They returned the item to the Bureau without further incident. No fatalities occurred. The collapse of the warehouse was not witnessed by civilians, and thus no re-informing of the communications department was required. Was it werewolves?
What if your werewolves
Werewolves.
ran on batteries?
No, swearwolves. We're werewolves, not swearwolves is great.
Oh my
If your
god,
batteries
that's a
ran
lot.
on werewolves. What if your video games run on microtransactions? Oh, they do. What if your microtransactions run on batteries? It's like a remote. It's a remote powered by AA battery, and you have to keep recharging them because if the power goes out on the battery, like if the remote depowers, it triggers the purchase of a microtransaction. EA Games.
What's in your wallet?
There, man, I think I've said this before. I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating. One of my favorite quotes ever from Giant Bomb is when they were talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, and there is a, you know how they originally have EA, it's in the game.
Yeah.
Or no, it's
EA
EA
Sports.
Challenge everything. Instead of challenge everything, it was EA Games. They killed Mass Effect.
Man, you're gonna see that fucking rocket curve and hit me in a second.
Fuck the code, Jesse says.
Wait for it.
Yeah, I see it. I kicked the X's ass so hard that he flew and saw the curvature of the Earth. Are you happy now? Man, what a good movie with a terrible protagonist. That's the other problem, right? Like, I really want to play, again, that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game. I don't want to give money to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Fund their abuse cycle or whatever garbage they're up to now. Ugh. But, oh man, nope, there you go. That's how you know we've been doing this for 3.5 hours, 2.5 hours rather. But, man, that Scott Pilgrim game really is good. There's a chance that I might have it on that 360 hard drive.
Maybe.
With like saves from 2010 or however long ago that was.
I'm gonna tell you what screwed over that attempt the first time. Is I grabbed an explosive, like, canister or something, and then I threw it at a guy, and also tried to ground pound at the same time, but I hit the canister in midair. I thought you would find that cool.
I do find that cool. Find that relatable.
He likes pants in.
Vaderson's really good. I have all of it on my hard drive, and I'm very happy about that. Formative.
Indeed.
God damn it. Red Dead Redemption 2 is on sale for $40.19. I thought that it was on sale for 19 cents because I didn't see the 4, and I was like, damn, really? It's I know I'm critical of Rockstar Games, but holy shit.
That's about how much that game is worth.
19 cents. Oh, that game has such a cool open world, but such a bad everything else.
Holy shit.
I'll take that back. The story in that game is pretty good.
I don't care.
The mission design is bad, and the controls are fucking terrible.
In that traditional Rockstar way, of like, no, it has to look good, it doesn't matter how it plays.
It is the worst offender of that by far. Like, there's a reason that I tried playing that on the PlayStation, and I was like, I can't. This just, it controls terribly. Like, I think my absolute tolerance for that type of thing is Geralt in The Witcher 3. Like, when that game first came out, he controlled absolutely terribly, like unacceptably. And eventually they fixed it, but man. Even that was better than Red Dead 2. And that's really saying something, because it was not good. I like that half of these enemy designs kind of look like they are... They're Remedy straight up being like, what if we had the Doom Revenant in our game?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we can't give him a jetpack. And he's like, well, he controls rocks. How about we give him a jetpack made out of rocks?
A jetpack made out of rocks. That is... You would have a jetpack made out of rocks, I know. You would have a jetpack made out of lightning.
Yeah, I would love a jetpack made out of lightning.
And, like, not lightning levitation powers like fucking Infamous. No, a jetpack made out of lightning.
Yeah, that's right. I heard you the first time.
I want to make sure you understand.
I do, and I like it. They have the... They're like, Sam, so we really want to have a jetpack made out of rocks, but we need to write it in such a way that it makes sense. Can you write this for us, Sam? And it just, all right, yes, all right. And then he does the fucking falls over. What a good trailer that was. Got my own writing staff. Welcome to nowhere.
Nowhere.
With her husband, use this bag.
Ah! What creepy stuff happens in Nowhere, and it's up to Courage to save his new home! Ah! Stupid dog, you made me look bad.
Oh, man.
We're like living time capsules. It's kind of horrible, but it's also great.
What do you mean? It's perfect. Incredible. Don't pay attention to the bottom right corner of the screen.
Pay
you guys
no
like
attention. Pay no mind to the Reaper behind the curtain.
You guys like this really specific era of 2005 Cartoon Network? No? Okay. Well, too bad.
We got it.
Guess what I like a whole lot? Among Us is $3.99? I thought that game was free.
Ahead. Do you see it?
I was under the impression that Among Us was free.
It's not. It was always just super cheap.
Okay.
That was jarring.
You ever see that game, Unfortunate Spaceman?
I've heard of it, but no.
It feels like Among Us, but you would like it, if that makes sense.
I remember not being interested in it.
Yeah. That's kind of where I am with it. It is totally for somebody, it's not for me.
Holidays home.
Don't worry about it, you just look at the pretty visuals.
I will look at the pretty visuals.
Ahti?
Again, I should like to point out that Ahti is the name of a god in, and is water god in Finnish, I believe.
Here he is.
No. Bark don't make a wound. You did good. Take my cassette player. You can borrow it. The song is a present from my friends to you. It will get you through the maze, so...
Did that really just happen? Of course it did. He gave me his cassette player. It'll get me through the maze, huh? The janitor always has the keys.
The janitor always has the keys.
A song, you say? A song to help us through the maze, you say?
To shreds, you say?
What about his wife?
To shreds, you say?
Please, take my cassette player. It has a copyright infringement suit in it. It will allow you to demonetize your video. Fucking Kasabian. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Alan Part 2, American Nightmare, got copyright struck, but not by Poets of the Fall. No. It was by Kasabian.
And we tried so hard. We really did.
We did try.
Wasn't enough.
It's what happens when I don't spend an hour editing one 15 segment of a video.
That's right. How dare you?
How dare I? Speaking of not spending an hour editing one segment of a video. Thanks, Ati, for this cassette player with the song to help us get through the ashtray maze.
That plays anyway!
Hold on, wait. I'm listening for it. Oh yeah, nope, that totally plays anyway. What the fuck? It's alright, I want you to enjoy this anyway. So guess what?
What?
Bix, you may enjoy knowing something about this song.
Yeah?
Not only is this a Poets of the Fall song, of course, it is explicitly an Old Gods of Asgard cassette tape.
That's wonderful. That makes me happy.
And not only is it explicitly an Old Gods of Asgard cassette tape, but it also has lyrics specifically related to the plot at hand. Because of course it does.
Of course it does.
Oh, I fucking love it. I love that they brought back for this. Also, Take Control as a song is roughly 7 minutes long.
And it fucking rules.
It does. It goes harder than any of the other Poets of the Fall songs, which is saying something. It has like a deep crunch to the production that the other ones don't have. It's like, take control. It's really good.
You're gonna get us double claimed.
I am not gonna get us double claimed.
You don't know that.
I'm gonna get us claimed, and they're like, "Oh no, we found the sound of somebody who sounds like he has laryngitis. Somebody coughed into a microphone on the Tonight Show 20 years ago.
For 20 minutes straight.
DMCA takedown. Burnout 3 DMCA takedown. I really want a mod of that game where, because of the music plays and the music just continues the way it normally does, but all of the cars are just like flat textured with blackness and white DMCA all over.
Yeah.
And it's just like DMCA is constantly trying to ram into you.
That's the streamer experience.
That is, yeah. Oh, this song is so good. This song is so good, and also this whole segment is really cool. Also, I should point out that this is something that I wanted to tell you about with the way that the song works with the environment.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing the Alan Wake thing, where like the lyrics matter and are written into the story in such a way that they make sense, segments of this maze will like lock in in a very Metal Gear Revengeance way with the music, where certain parts will vamp and repeat until you get to another part of the maze, and when the other part of the maze kicks in, like, other parts of the song will kick in properly.
Good.
As well as also having lyrics that are straight up about, like, the town called Ordinary, and taking control of your own life, and, like, Polaris guiding you through. And now I can finally talk a way that, aside from just the dumb little gags we get here and there of like, oh, this Old Gods of Asgard record, I remember my dad showed me this, and I fell in love with them immediately, like stuff like that. You also get the knowledge of what happened with Odin and Thor as a couple of creators, which is, there is an implication, and there's some level of reading that you can do about this as to what happened to them. But after Barry goes on to have, like, you know, a role in as their manager and as their talent and their producer.
That's right.
There is an implication that Odin and Thor went on to, like, ascend to a higher plane of existence. And
yeah, I
like,
believe it.
Straight up, like poets, like literally, like heralds of what is to come.
Poets of the fall, if you will.
And poets of the fall, and that, like, their music continues to be prophetic and handed down through time and space to people who need it in extraordinary circumstances. And hey, going by that logic, you might also say Alan maybe wrote it to be this way. That she would come across the one band that, of course, can, like, the idea that they would write a song into this that has, you know, significance to how events play out makes sense as something that he drew from in his own experience and exists within the story already. Like, it can't be an asshole for him, because that literally happened during Bright Falls.
It did.
And it also makes sense for how it happened in Balance Slays the Demon and Nightmare, something else that he wrote. That is so fucking cool, and I love it. I love the sequence so much.
This game is so fucking cool.
It's so fucking cool. As personally a fan of Poets of Fall and their backlog in general, their repertoire, sorry. As somebody who likes all their music, this is also kind of a return to the music that I really like of theirs, because they do a lot of softer stuff nowadays. They do a lot of, like, live orchestration and stuff like that. And they kind of don't go quite as heavy and as hard as they did in, like, say, Revolution Roulette and, Revolution Roulette and some of their earlier albums. But Take Control is totally one of those. It fits right in with, like, Dark Disquiet and Take Control.
That was awesome.
They super fucking cool, right?
Projector.
Super fucking cool.
The expedition into Slidescape 36.
And it fits in a way that Children of the Elder God only wish could.
Changed everything.
I really hope that we don't get claimed for that. I was hoping I wouldn't talk over so much.
It would be so cool if they were like, hey, don't claim this. But no, it won't happen.
You have that thing, like, enabled in the menu, right?
Yeah, I can pull it up right now.
Pull it up, because I want to check if that got, like, unchecked or something.
Copyrighted music is checked.
God fucking damn it! There's literally nothing that you can do!
Yeah, you want me here. Finding the projector was how this all began.
There is
What started
nothing.
ordinary ends here.
They knew it was
Me,
important.
Dylan. We've all come full circle.
I don't understand. It's a good thing I don't monetize on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, it's no fucking point. I'll tell you what, we're coming up on 4 o'clock here, my time.
Yeah. Looks like, huh?
I feel like that's a good note to end on.
I would say so. There's a lot of stuff in the song that you can go over with the lyrics if you ever so chose to. They talk a lot about ordinary. They talk about like kind of the nature of the board and fighting against and dealing with the fact that you're a part of it. Obviously, taking control as a theme that we talked about before. There is another reversed message in that song as well, which kind of talks about the like the inverted pyramid and shit like that. And they talk about Polaris as well, and also pay lip service to Awe as the AWE, Awe and Wonder. There's some shit going on there. And I don't want to do the music thing where we go into like analysis of the lyrics or anything, but much in the same way that Children of the Elder God and Balance Slays the Demon matters, this one matters also within the context of Control. So if anybody is interested in that, go listen to that song. They kind of beat you over the head with it, but it's a really good song anyway.
It is 100% my jam. Like, you know that is what I listen to.
Yeah. And that was the other thing, was like I was sending you Balance Slays the Demon, and I was like, man, the fucking next thing that shows up in the YouTube playlist is Take Control. I really hope he doesn't click on it because it's such a cool moment. And also, like, you understand why me telling you ahead of time is like, I might consider just telling you to turn off the copyrighted music thing and just play it because it matters. It's such a good song.
Holy shit, also, you were right. That moment would have kind of... I don't want to say it would have sucked, but it would have fallen a bit flat without the music.
It's just like the total atmosphere of it, right?
Like, instead of being like this kick-ass heavy metal power ballad kind of thing, where you're just blasting through this rapid-fire section of enemies, it would have been like, oh, look at this cool visual design, because it's cool. And that's kind of all there is there. They knew. They had to know. They knew how important it was.
Not only is it important, it's literally the climax of the action. There is no greater... Like, you take a look at that section where Jessie is just flying through the air and fucking blasting dudes apart. And it's like, there's a reason the song is called Take Control. She is at such a higher level of power than she's been for the rest of the game. It's so good. What a cool set piece.
This game is fucking awesome. You should buy it.
You should buy it twice so I can go buy Alan Wake 2.
That's right.
Please. Anything you want to say before we leave today?
I'm gonna say it again. Fucking buy this game. And also, Grim is still here.
Grim is still there. We are not paid by Remedy, but Remedy, if you would like to pay me, I'll take it.
Yeah?
I love your games. Oh, my throat is dry. My face is numb.
My face
is laughing in my face. Maybe see you guys later.
See you next time.